Come on, recording is started. Okay, and if I mouse over here. Okay, good. Looks like OBS is working. So can we all check in? Adora, you're here? You got sound? Oh no. I don't hear anything. That's not a good start.
She's in the plane of thought.
Okay.
It's okay.
We'll come back to that one. Aeneas?
I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Zai, I've been hearing you. You're
Yep.
here.
I talk a lot.
Morgan, you're here?
You here?
Here.
Excellent. And let's try again. Adora, question mark?
Yes, what about me?
Okay, just checking, just doing a sound check with everyone, making sure everyone's in. Okay. Okay, we're gonna get started. I'm moving us back to the home page. So before anything else, I'm gonna roll us a pregame question. Oh, okay. So today's question is, what kind of world were you born into? Wait a second, I didn't do a sound check on Kevin, and also Kevin is not on Roll20. Kevin?
I'm signing on Roll20 now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
So, what kind
I'm in.
Good. Okay. What kind of world was your character born into? At the midpoint, so at the current time, present day, what is the state of your character's home world? How has it been affected by the Galactic Civil War? Has it been conquered by any of the empires? And then at the bottom of the thing, I have a list of the most common categories of worlds in this setting. There's war zones and army forts, there's pilgrimage destinations, there's research stations, there's academic institutions, manufactories, agricultural worlds, backwater or feudal worlds, penitentiaries, urban worlds, capital worlds, political administrative worlds, and then migrant, caravan, spaceship, and other. So, looking at the list, which category of world was your character born into? Who can go first?
I've never had.
Okay. Roy came online basically in a research station that was run by Red Corps.
Okay.
We all just got from the plane of thought, so I don't think I need to describe that place.
What
that
was
was his
the
other birthplace. His human body, though, that is an unknown.
Okay. Not that Roy would know this necessarily, but just in fiction. What is the status of that research institution as of 5 years into the Civil War?
I think that at this point it's abandoned. Post Mindenshire getting trapped in like the fifth dimensional cube at the end of season 1, a lot of the funding ability of Red Corp was slashed, and some of their more experimental programs, which thought implantation into organic bodies was at the top of that list. A lot of those programs got cut. So it's like imagine one of those space stations in the movies Aliens.
Okay.
Like that's what that place looks like now.
All right. Next up, anybody know what they want to do? Otherwise,
Yeah.
okay.
Super easy for me. Galway, Ireland, Earth.
Oh, like actually born on Terra.
Nice.
Okay. So
What's it like there now? Because I mean, we know what it's like now in our real world.
I mean,
What's it like?
super developed.
Yeah.
Super developed like shiny, fancy Neo Tokyo, or super developed like Blade Runner 2049 Slum?
I mean, probably at this point more like Coruscant almost.
Ah,
Word.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
damn.
I see that. I wanted to ask, is there any within the Terran Empire, do you think there's any kind of prestige associated with with being somebody who was born on Earth?
I mean, according to what you posted to me at the very beginning, there was, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about how in original 1979 Gundam, there's a line where a character finds out that another character is from Earth, and even though this character is has nothing to indicate that they have lived a privileged life, the other person goes, "Oh, so you're one of those privileged people who got to stay on Earth." Okay. I imagine that there are degrees of that in the Terran Empire where, like, regardless of what the reality of your life on Earth was, the perception is that by living on Earth, you were a big deal.
I mean, one of the things that you put in the original bit was that it's an automatic guarantee of citizenship as opposed to conquered worlds only granting citizenship after so many generations.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that would be a big deal.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I was born in like deep space in the cataclysm of a supernova, right?
Okay.
So almost immediate. I think that I forget if we talked about whether I would say that I was almost immediately scooped up by a Terran science expedition. So I think that there's like there are generations of nova that floated around in deep space for millions and billions of years. Sentient life forms in the galaxy hadn't figured out what novas were, or like found one yet. But then there was there's like, since the discovery of nova, they're like a gold rush because you can basically, like, the Terran Empire can like scour the galaxy, wait for a supernova, and then collect thousands of like cheap
Are they like
labor.
dormant while they're like just floating through space, or
No, they're not dormant. They're fully sentient, but they can't die. So could you just do you know you ever played Portal? You know the space cube?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just imagine the space cube for a billion years, just alone with your thoughts, and then suddenly you're picked up by the Terran Empire.
Alone with your thoughts.
Well, alone with your thoughts and all the other novas that you were born with.
Oh no. The violence of the supernova scatters all the nova that are created far that there's literally trillions. There's literally maybe not trillions. There's an unfathomable distance between you and the nearest nova that you were born with.
Okay.
So much so that you don't even know that you think that most nova, like without a frame of reference, like if they're just actually floating around in deep space, think they're the only being in the universe.
I was about to say that's really funny considering the different kinds of matter both nova and thoughts are. So I imagine like a nova could float through a thought and not even know it. The thought would know it, but not know what exactly it was, and it would just kind of tickle.
Yeah. I will say though that there's, like I say, the two generations of nova, right? I'm not from the generation of. I don't think that Emil is from the generation of nova that happens to, that experience that, because at this point in the galaxy, the Terran Empire, or whoever the big dog is in that region of space when there's a supernova there, just goes and scoops up all the nova for cheap labor. So I got vacuumed up and sent to a nova place.
Yeah,
I think that specifically they send nova to do you know what a Hadean world is? Like Hades, like they're basically Mustafar from Star Wars.
Yeah.
They send nova there to begin like the geoscaping efforts, like the terraforming efforts, because nova are like hey, this planet is like 400, or this planet is like 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit and is full of lava. It's the perfect place for nova because you can work and you don't have to pay them health benefits for being there.
I actually
they actually enjoy that temperature.
I actually just started outlining a story that takes place on Mars, and it is about the terraforming efforts of robots that are sent to Mars and how they feel about humans then coming in and trying to reap their efforts benefits.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I think that the Terran Empire uses nova. It's like use them for a couple thousand years until the planet is like terraformed enough that like a actual biological creature could like live on it without dying immediately, and then ship all the Nova off to the next Adian planet.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Okay.
like rinse and repeat. So that's where I was born.
So, Aeneas. Oh my god, I'm having such a hard time. Paprika. What's Paprika's? Okay, I think this one will be fairly easy to answer. What was and what is Paprika's homeworld like?
Paprika's homeworld was more on the smaller scale. Like, it wasn't really important. It was responsible for a lot of like the agricultural like needs of the other planets around it. Like, we did a lot of farming. We made sure a lot of the other planets around us were getting food and stuff like that.
Breadbasket, food world, agrarian. That's the word.
Okay.
But it was also like, it just had a very small like village type feel. Like, even though it was a whole planet, it was one of those communities where it's like everyone helps each other, it takes a village, etc., etc. So like,
yeah, I imagine that the planet was probably kind of like a whole bunch of little rural town centers.
yeah.
I
Or
like
something similar to like Tatooine, but instead of sand, there's like crops.
Yeah, and like in all of those little like areas where there were like, oh, this area specializes on the grains, this area specializes on, whatever. But like in each of those little like areas, it was still like everyone helps each other, it takes a village, like everyone knows each other kind of thing. Like, that was why like Paprika felt the way that she did when everything came crashing down.
So just to confirm, this is definitely an area where like bring your tractor to prom was like a big thing.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
very good.
Like, we were aware of like the magnificent technology that was like in all the other parts of the world, but it was kind of one of those things where it was just like, we don't need any of that. With some hard work and dedication, we can just do this on our own, blah 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 blah. And I think that was why like the planet was so unprepared when Echo arrived. Like, there was nothing we could have done, and that planet just doesn't exist anymore. It is basically scattered across the universe, and it's just rock bits now. It was destroyed.
They went full Alderaan on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn.
Okay.
Damn, Echo, why are you so crazy?
That leaves us with Morgan. I think Morgan's the last person. Oh, and then me.
Yeah.
I forgot that I have a character. Morgan.
Yeah. So are we talking like original Elfin world, or are we talking?
Yeah. So where you were born? I imagine you were born. So there's two kinds of Elfin worlds. Well, three. There are colonized Elfin worlds, which are mostly like nature reserve kind of planets that they maintain. There are Elfin world ships, which are like the one that we visited in the first campaign. They're giant floating boats through space the size of a moon. They're like Death Stars, but instead of death, it's forests. And then the third are Elfin embassies. So there are a lot of there's sort of an Elfin, I think the word is diaspora. There are Elfin people kind of scattered across the colonized worlds, mostly living in Elfin embassies, which you can find. It'll be like kind of like a Chinatown kind of neighborhood that you'll find in a lot of major cities. So which of those three was Ruta born into?
I feel like Ruta was born into like upper class military, but Ruta like got turned away from that world a long time ago. He still does the demon hunting thing.
So he was probably born into one of the world ships, which are like the main governmental centers.
Yeah.
And,
With
was his dad
Cigar.
like a major military leader?
Yeah, I think that makes sense because Root is such like a big military guy.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
He
Okay.
sounds like a James Kirk that went rogue instead of joining Starfleet.
So during the Civil War, the Alfheim, the Aelfin galaxy-wide collective alliance of Aelfin ships, was split, and half of Alfheim went with the Cleansing Crucible, who are dedicated to destroying the Xenocians and the demons and stuff, and also all of the progenitors. They want to fully genocide, wipe the progenitors out of existence. And then there are the Aelfins. Yeah. So they call themselves the homeworld Aelfin, the like conservative Aelfin. Fuck.
Okay.
Whatever. Joined that group. Then another group of Aelfin joined the Coalition of the New Dawn, who are dedicated to protecting independent nations and, among other things, are supportive of independent progenitor groups who are trying to break away from the progenitor empire. So basically the Aelfin ships split 50-50 between we want to get rid of progenitors altogether versus we are opposed to the progenitor empire, but we want to support the progenitor offshoots, the progenitor rebels. So which of those two camps did Ruda's homeworld fall into?
I think the progenitor rebels.
Oh yeah. So supporting the sort of less extremist group.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so that means that there's a decent chance that we might run into them as a sort of like ally at some point.
Oh. Nice.
That could be interesting. Okay. So I think that covers. And then there's me. Eilish was born on a research station that was orbiting around some unusual cosmological place. I think I said that they were kind of stationed in orbit around a black hole doing gravitational research and stuff like that prior to, throughout the time of her childhood. And I don't know what would have happened to them. I think probably into the Galactic Civil War, they've probably been conquered and sort of changed hands more than once, but as often goes with scientists and researchers, those are the kind of people that a conquering country tends to want to keep rather than executing. So I think that they're probably still doing their work and just kind of giving their research to whoever happens to be in control of their colony at the time. Okay, so I think that covers everyone. Just doing a quick rundown of our pregame.
They're collaborators.
I mean, yeah, they are not people who have strong morals.
Do they have any specific focus on like what they're researching? Like just out of curiosity.
I think that they were researching different. They were focused on mechanical innovations. So developing. I know that when I was originally thinking about it, I was thinking that they were working on like spaceships and mechs and stuff like that. Given that they were working around a gravitational hole, a black hole, I think that they were probably working on what's it called? Spatial maneuvering. So they were probably doing speculative research into different possibilities for different types of like engines and thrusters and stuff like that, and what would work better and worse. And
There's and Kevin might know about this. There's a sci-fi concept of a I don't know if it's a matter deconstructor or matter constructor, but whatever. It would be some kind of a facility that's set up near a black hole that would use the black hole's gravity to actually pull up all kinds of exotic matter that are being pulled into it. So like it captures this stuff right before it crosses the event horizon to like the point of no return, and it harvests these minerals because the black hole is drawing literally everything that could possibly exist around it into it. So if you can just basically like scoop down into that and not get destroyed, then you could get like some amazing materials that you wouldn't find anywhere else in the universe. Some
and that
would
probably be
not even
fantastic
exist.
for developing experimental builds where you're like you're like, hey, we have this speculative kind of material that we can find around a black hole. We could maybe make it in a lab, but it would be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So
like element 115 now, there's like less than a gram of it on Earth. But if you had a black hole, then you could have a conceivably unending source of that.
Right. So that would be a fantastic place to do prototyping.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily the place where you would want to do your mass manufacturing, but it would be great because you would have a whole lot of different kinds of materials that you could use to say like, well, let's try building something with this element this week and see what happens. Okay, I love that. All right, going down the pregame checklist. Everybody, open up your character sheet and give yourself a quick refresher on if your character has any wounds or traumas you need to be keeping in mind, and it doesn't hurt to give a peek at what your abilities are. Oh God, Eilish is still a mess. Okay.
What the hell? This is not my character.
Yeah, I think you just created a new character sheet.
Whoops. How do I delete a character sheet?
I got it.
I see delete item on there, but I'm not going to touch it since you're already touching it.
I got it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Pre-game question. Just did that. New NPCs and clocks. I'm going to. Okay. We'll do that in post game, and then. Oh, this is a reminder for a thing that we have not done yet, but there is a mechanic called overclocking, which is a thing you can do if you like really need to succeed at something. So keep that in mind. If we're playing and you fail a roll and you really need that roll to succeed, there is an option for making it succeed, but you have to pay a price later. Okay, so that's a good refresher. Everybody ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am everybody.
So I'm gonna move us to the Gemini map. Let's see.
Oh shit! I forgot to put on music. I'm sitting here like, why is it so silent? I failed.
Oh, it's okay. So Zai, I'm gonna start setting up our sort of landing pad pages for the world that we're going to. In the meantime, well, let's start with just talking through what happens. So, last time we played, we were in thought space, and the game ended with us popping out of thought space, Sans, 1 Reverend Byrne. So I am hiding Reverend Byrne's icon for now. We popped out of thought space, and we were in orbit around a planet. I am setting up the map for that planet so people can look at it, but the first priority of the ship, now that we are out of, that very bad situation, is we need to get we need to make sure that everybody that we need to get some people to the hospital. We need to get repairs to the ship, and there's some just like general logistical steps we need to get out of the way before we can get to work on getting out of here and finding where everybody wants to go and stuff like that. So
who's injured? Who's fucked up?
I mean,
I am not. I think I'm good.
I mean, my character has
Eilish
an
is
injury.
very injured.
But
Eilish is real hurt.
Eilish is doing better. But
Claven still got baby legs.
Well, and I think that there's just because remember there were a couple hundred people on the ship when it crash landed, and then we went immediately from that crash landed state to being in a cave full of scary monsters, and then went immediately from there to the plane of thought, and we were in there for like a week, and then we popped back out, and nobody has had any time to, get any medical attention beyond what can be provided on the ship itself since the original
tiny source of
crash landing.
conflict and potential mystery that coincides with our missing Byrne. She's not the only missing one.
Oh,
because there were hundreds of people you just said on this ship. Other people are missing, like their best friend is gone, their mom is missing, their child is not there. So like there is a lot of tension and like confusion on the ship right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. All right. So those are all things that will need to be addressed.
Most prominent missing one though is Byrne, I would say, and it's also the most strange because she was literally right next to us.
Right. Okay, so we are in orbit. So first priority for the ship is to get it would be a good idea for us to head down to the planet so the ship can get repairs and get the ship into a state where it can take everybody back to where they need to be. Zai, is there anything I need to think of that are logistics we need to take care of like immediately while we're in orbit before we go down planet side?
Who would be the person like making the decision for us to go down to the planet, and like how would that happen? Like,
that would be
would there be a ship-wide announcement? Would there be some kind of a common hall meeting where everybody is like?
Yep, there totally would be. So,
just standing around screaming at the party, because we have been the decision makers of what's happening on this ship thus far. We've had close communication with like the captain. I can't remember her name, but I imagine that like if you've ever seen that show Avenue 5, it's like a comedy sci-fi, but like about a generation ship that gets fucked up. But like, yeah, so you have seen it. It would be like that.
That's the one that's about like a cruise ship, right?
Yeah, a cruise ship. That gets knocked off of its orbit or whatever. It gets knocked off of its path, and it doesn't have the right amount of gas, so it's just like lost in space kind of, but like close to Earth. And yeah, just madness. So you've got all these people just screaming at us as a group of people about what do we do, so and so is missing. Where's my baby? Like all this kind of shit going on. And we're just like, so we need to land the ship and like collect ourselves because we just went through a place that there's no frame of reference for. None of us knows really or understands what we've just been through, and there's some weird stuff going on. So even though there's this strange looking planet, this planet is alien and it looks a little alien, so that's kind of disconcerting. But I'm not sure who would be saying this, maybe the captain, but we probably need to set down because we're in a vulnerable state right now.
Right. I think
and
it's
there will
probably
probably
like
be
the
some more chaos in him
alien.
and Han. What?
I don't think it is what am I saying? Like I don't think it's super alien. I think it is the galaxy is a big weird place. And so I think that for people who are used to traveling around the galaxy, we're probably used to seeing weird stuff, but yeah. So yeah, so we've got the supercomputer, the Gemini 3, Captain Gemini, who is the formal captain, is the AI of the ship itself. And then there is Commander Ilya, who I have misplaced. I think maybe this is her.
Ruda's love.
Yes. And then we've got other people who are on the ship who I will just drop in on the background here. Okay, so yes, there definitely is some argument about what needs to happen. The person who like formally gets to make the decision is Captain Gemini, but I think that our characters are among the groups that are sort of taken into consideration there. Let's see. Okay, so there's a lot of people who are concerned. I think that maybe step one is the captain gathers everybody together, gives them a situation report, you know, here's where we are on the galactic map. We just escaped from thought space. We're still trying to figure out what's happening. We know some people are missing. We are going to look into that. But before we can do anything else, we need to get the Gemini some repairs, and we need a place that is safe that we can reorganize, get ourselves fixated, and find out what our next steps are.
I would like to know how each of the party members reacts to this gathering. Like, what are you doing? What's your mood? Like, are you?
Well, aren't we trying to rescue Reverend Byrne?
I mean, that can be something. I think that would be something that someone like Ruda would just like shout in the middle of this place. And like,
I'm just like sick of standing around because we have to get Reverend Byrne.
I mean, we don't know. We managed to find a way out of thought space, but I don't think we know a way back in. And
would that be Eilish saying that?
Yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to make a dialogue scene here because this is like really cool and interesting, and I think that we should all like. So yeah, no, Ruda shouting out something, you know, about Byrne. That's awesome. And if Eilish was the one to respond,
yeah, I think Eilish is saying. I mean, I have to remember that Eilish is emotionally blunted right now. Yeah, I think that Eilish is beyond a point where she can care right now, and she's saying that sucks. We'll find out something for Reverend Byrne, but I don't know what we could do. Does anybody have any suggestions?
How the fuck did we get there in the first place? I'm trying to remember.
We went through a portal that was in a Red Horde facility, and yeah.
Right.
I think at this point, like Captain Gemini would probably be staring daggers at Roy, and Roy is like watching Paprika, so he's kind of distracted, but would say something to the effect of, so he's not up on the platform or whatever, but he's speaking loudly enough for everyone else to hear, and he says, "Time moves differently on the plane of thought. The things that bind the mortal realm aren't the same there as they are here. So we don't know how long Byrne has been there. We don't know how long we've been there. Our chronometers on the ship are basically just spinning around like some old world human toy. And we don't have our bearings at all. Byrne could be back yesterday because nothing there makes sense. So we need to figure out what's happening with us first."
Yeah.
And then he says some stupid haiku. I don't have queued up.
And then Ruta just, I guess, goes to the bar. It's like, what?
Ruta's out.
That makes sense.
Pangalactic Cargo Blasters.
I was getting ready to say.
out.
Okay.
What's Paprika doing like during this?
Paprika is buried in her poncho right now because she doesn't want anyone to know she has been crying since her memory sequence last game.
Oh.
So is she like emotionally scarred at this point?
She's,
like, even though she wasn't physically attacked or anything.
Yeah, she's kind of catatonic right now.
Was it the memories of what was going on and like being under all those bodies, or was it like the actual like seeing Echo again and attack? Actually, I imagine that Roy would have been trying between then and now. Roy would have been trying to ask you about who that was, or anything that you know about them. Like if you heard anything, if you smelled anything, like. So yeah, I'm just wondering what was the most traumatic thing about that, or if it was just a combination of all the things. I don't know.
I would say it was definitely a combination. Like, at first, Paprika was aware, like, since she had gone last, she knew these were just memories. And in her mind, it was like, we're just seeing these things. They can't hurt us. So when Echo actually responded to Paprika and did her flashy move before disappearing, like, Paprika felt it. And even though she didn't actually retain any of those injuries, the shock of that even happening and being responded to was part of it. And I think there's also, like, a lot of sadness just because, like, there's always been a part of Paprika that missed her family because she just lost them. But I think also revisiting that memory and seeing people that she has no frame of reference for now, she's eaten up by guilt. Like, she doesn't know who these people were to her. She just knows that they were important and that she no longer has a chance to interact with them or find out who they were. Like, everything about that planet is just gone.
Was some of the trust between Paprika and Roy broken or damaged because of what happened in the plane of thought? I mean, Roy
I
basically
think that Paprika, I definitely think things are a little frigid between us right now, and I would say that is because, like, obviously Roy is asking the questions he is asking because he is on a mission. He wants to figure out more about Echo, especially now that he recognizes who she is. But to Paprika, you are my dad and you are not protecting me. You just keep asking me invasive questions. And I don't like that. I am losing trust in you.
Gotcha. I think that's a good question for the party too. Did everyone recognize who Echo was?
Well, some of us never knew that character.
So I mean, I would think so. I guess this would be more of a question for Ruda.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever did.
Why he's drinking at the bar. I imagine the tickler followed you there.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And
So-
it's Ruda and his cronies.
So,
But who's
Ruda,
Echo? I don't think I've ever met
do
Echo.
you remember that last game we revealed that the identity of Echo, the Mendenshire assassin person, is in fact Aveline?
Yeah, Roy recognized.
Oh, yeah.
Paprika has no frame of reference for Aveline, so she doesn't know who Aveline was or what she looked like. But the people in the party who knew Aveline and knew what she looked like would have been Roy and Ruda.
Oh shit! So Ruda.
And
Huh?
Emil?
Yeah,
And
Emil,
Emil,
too.
my bad.
And Anahir.
Yeah. So Ruda, it's been like 15 years though, right? Like 10 years since
10 years.
Aveline, and Aveline's supposed to be dead.
So yeah, we saw Aveline die, but now she is apparently back and evil.
So that's what I was trying to say. Do you think that Ruda would have recognized that was Aveline, or?
Dude, I had no idea that was Aveline. Well, so it's been 15 years. Like, what does Echo look like at this point? Is it
Okay, so Ruda's roughly
like
in the dark. He
a
doesn't
resemblance?
realize it was Aveline.
Yeah, it definitely didn't pass Ruda that.
I think Anna here recognized her, because Anna here and Aveline had like a in-depth relationship in the first season. Not like a relationship, but they were cool. Like back when it was Anwar, when they were Anwar.
So Aveline doesn't want to be known, seen.
I think Anna here is like off by themselves, like probably also just crying.
Yeah.
Because Lacey's not here to say otherwise, so she crying.
No, I think that's good. I think that
Emil, what did Emil recognize? Echo? Oh wait, Kevin's not.
Yeah,
Kevin's to bed.
He had to step away.
Okay, I'll ask him later.
all right. So I think that probably shit, what's her name? Otema. I think that maybe because she's kind of the most like she's sort of the ship's therapist. I think that Otema is probably the one who suggests, all right, since we're waiting, all right, how about for now we don't do anything just yet. The ship is not in a state where it is dangerous to remain where we're at for a little bit. Let's remain in orbit, give it 3 days, and everybody take some time and decompress. We'll have, support sessions for anybody who has any issues they need to process after their time in thought space, and anybody who wants to go planet side can just take their ship and go planet side. But maybe the best thing would be that we take a few days and we just process everything that just happened.
Do we have a character name for this character right here?
That character is named Starfire. That character was what's her name's Aveline's mentor.
Starfire is flipping out. So Starfire is, I think,
Wait,
shouting.
hold on. I think it would be best to have Aeneas play through this. So why don't you explain the idea of what you're thinking about for this scene to Aeneas, and then have Aeneas play it out.
Aeneas, can you make Starfire flip out to the effect of she recognized Echo and she recognizes the danger of what Roy was talking about and how we have no idea how long we were gone and we don't have our bearings at all. And you want to get, and Starfire wants to get this whole ship to the ground to safety. because I think because she has the motivation of knowing what Aveline, now Echo, was and is.
Okay, this is really interesting because I always thought of Starfire as a very rational person. So, like, when you guys are saying, all right, we need to take some time to decompress, we need to get the ship down, get it repairs and stuff like that, like, she rationally understands that these are things that need to happen. But as somebody who basically taught Aveline everything she knows, and now that she is aware of who Echo is and knows what Echo has been doing, like, I think she has this moment where, like, after the discussion of, all right guys, let's take some time to decompress happen, like, she kind of stands up on a box or a platform and she's like, no, I don't think you guys understand the severity of the situation we are in right now. Echo could be here. Echo could be here now. She could be here soon. Like, anywhere we go is not safe. She has the ability to go anywhere in the known universe or unknown universe at the blink of an eye. She basically has to snap her fingers, and right now her main motivation seems to be destroying planets. And I don't know if anybody else has really picked up on this or not, but she keeps doing this to planets that are tertiarily connected to us. Like, why aren't you guys really flipping out about that more?
Yeah, now
Roy
it
says,
hasn't happened to Sports Riot Planet yet, right?
That was fucking awesome. That was exactly what I was looking for. Thank you, Anais.
You are welcome.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Great job.
So,
Sports Riot hasn't been hit, has it?
Say what?
By Echo?
Planet
We
Sports,
don't know.
right?
That's the thing. We don't
American
know. We've been
Canadian
in the
Ninja
plane
Warrior?
Yeah, I think that was also the point that, like, Starfire's trying to get across. Like, maybe we don't know if she's hit Sport Riot yet, but the fact of the matter is, she could be hitting Sport Riot right now.
Yeah, we don't know. Like, our ship has been in the plane of thought. It's instruments that it uses to monitor the local galaxy are completely screwed up. So, like, I mean, Echo could just, like, missile herself through our ship and, like, disable the whole thing. Like, we don't know the limits of her abilities. She was able to communicate with Paprika from the mortal plane while we were on the plane of thought. So, like, Echo's fucking terrifying, and we should probably land the ship.
Well,
Yeah, Root is. I think Root is getting a little bit more concerned now because of
listening to the
Canadian
calls
Ninja Warrior
from the
Planet.
bar. It's just like, oh, this sounds really bad. Ah, shit. Give me another Pan-Galactic Argo Blaster.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
I don't know. I think we should land. Roy thinks that the ship should land. Otema thinks that we should chill and, like, try to reevaluate for 3 days while in space. Ruta's at the bar listening to the conversation, but, like, slowly understanding the gravity of all of the bad that is happening. Paprika is damaged and crying in the corner while Roy interrogates her and, like, adds deadpan responses to, like, the heightened conversation going on.
okay, so I think
this is a fun scene.
I think that when Starfire gave that speech, it probably, triggered a lot of panic, reasonably so.
If you think you're safe, she's coming for you.
Okay, so I think Eilish walks up to the podium, and I'm trying to figure out how she would say this. I think the effect is we might not be safe here, but we are no less safe here than we would be anywhere. In fact, as as my mentor pointed out, the places that Echo has been targeting, if they are in fact, places that are connected to the party in whatever group's name in some way. I think it was the Cell. If she's targeting places that are connected to the Cell in some way, this planet is completely, Zai, I established that we knew. Zai, do we know where we are in the galaxy?
Because
you established that
I think that our instruments are messed up. I think that there are people on the ship who think they recognize where they are.
Okay.
I think whether they're right or not, we can't fully determine, but
okay.
The group thinks they know where they are. Generally.
Okay.
We think we know the planet that we're looking at. We're not certain.
If our goal is safety, then the safest option is we get planetside, we get a situation report, and then if we need to move, we move. But assuming that this planet is not a planet that is connected to us in any way, it is as safe as anywhere else in the galaxy. So we go find somewhere safe, we get our ship figured out, and then we can figure out where to go. And at this, she throws her hands up in the air and walks off the podium.
Agreed. We need to put down our, even if Echo does not arrive here, our ship's performance is unreliable right now.
I mean, yeah, Eilish can definitely confirm our ship is not jump worthy. Even if our ship is, safe enough sitting in space for the time being, our ship is definitely not able to do a interstellar jump right now.
Mm.
Just a small little detail, just because we're discussing the ship right now, and I find it a really interesting and funny concept since our ship is primarily captained by the AI version of the ship. I really like to think that there's the hollow version of the AI sitting there listening to all this happen, well, I think I would know the integrity of my own ship better, but if you guys are really that worried about it, okay, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, that's a good point. Have you seen, if you remember the show Dark Matter when I was watching it, Android would perform all of the AI operations for the ship. And there are points where her Neuralink with the ship is disrupted. So I think that's what state our AI is in right now. It can communicate, it is present, but Captain Gemini is even more necessary right now because our AI can't properly function the ship's various systems. Our AI is doing everything in its abilities right now to keep the life support systems maintained. And that's about it.
Okay, wow, awesome. Well, not awesome, but I that's a cool detail to know. Thank you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
I think Captain Gemini would slam her space gavel at this point and make a decision about whether or not we stay in space or whether we go down to the planet.
And I think she would say go planet side because from her perspective, the ship is the top priority for everyone. If the ship is compromised, then the ship is the thin film of survivable matter that we are inside of, and if that film pops, we all die immediately. At least if we're planet side, we've got more
That's
options.
one less thing to worry about, yes.
Okay.
Cool. With that, I think the room disperses. Starfire probably stomps off, but with the air of victory for having gotten her point across. Roy follows Paprika sheepishly around a corner, just keeping an eye on her, but laying off on the questions a little bit because he's at this point just observing and studying a biological going through distress and he doesn't know what to do.
I think Paprika like realizes that you are following her. She goes back to her room and slams the door shut before you can join her. And she's just gonna wait there until we get planetside.
Roy goes to the bar and like doesn't sit next to Ruta because Ruta punched him in the face last game.
And then cue the cheers music. And then everybody's like, woo! And then a pink electric gargle blaster slides across the bar.
Just goes sits in the corner.
And Roy notices that it has a worm in it, and Ruta winks.
Okay.
Roy
drinks the Pangalactic Gargle Blaster.
This is new. Roy didn't do intoxicants last campaign.
He did not.
Okay. So
does that mean, Roy, that we are having like a drinking contest?
I don't think it would be a contest because Roy wouldn't like. I don't think Roy would enjoy the effects of alcohol.
I was actually going to ask if Roy would be affected by alcohol, like.
I think Roy would be affected by alcohol, but like, so there's a reason why you can't have alcohol in space. I'm talking about in the real world, like, because alcohol is such a conductor of electricity and lights on fire so quickly that it would just like blow up and cause massive catastrophe. So being that Roy is a thought, something that is a being based on the electromagnetic spectrum, drinking alcohol would probably cross wires in his head in a way that he didn't enjoy. Like, I don't think that he would get traditionally drunk, but I do think that he would get stupid. Like,
well,
his haiku would
make
what... even less sense. Like, he wouldn't be coordinated. He would still have his judgment and stuff like that, but he wouldn't be able to function the meat bag as well as previously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what alcohol is, but Pangalactic Gargle Blasters are the fucking shit.
Okay.
Where it says, yes, this is fucking shit. Thank you, Ruta.
Okay. I'm gonna. So first, I need to state this before we go any further that Eilish goes and finds Starfire and gives her a a hug, but like a textbook hug, like the literally the like textbook approved, this is how you comfort somebody hug, because Starfire is Eilish's mentor too, but also Eilish doesn't know how to interact with people, so
Eilish is giving Starfire the hug.
Yes.
Word. Makes sense. I think Starfire would like kind of realize the importance of what was occurring and like simmer down a little bit.
Yeah, she definitely apologizes to like Eilish for the outburst. Like, it's not something she's gonna go back and be like, hey everybody, I'm sorry that like I probably made everything seem more dire than it is. But like when Eilish made the attempt to comfort her, she was like, I'm really sorry that I lost my cool back there. I really wanted to make sure people understood what kind of situation we found ourselves in, you know?
Yeah. What is the, okay. I need to come up with some names. So the name for the planet that we're orbiting around is Branimir 3. Our characters will figure that out at some point, but that is, I have to start writing them down because I'm labeling maps. What would the capital city of Branimir be called? If it matters, I think that the cultural inspiration here is sort of French, sort of like Louis IV era French.
The capital city?
Yeah.
Just call it Versailles. Oh, why can't I open anything on Spotify? What the fuck? Oh, I think it's this one. So.
I'm gonna call it Brasailles.
Versailles? Cool.
Sailles. That's how it's spelled. Yep. Brasailles. Brasailles. Okay. So, by the way, Adora, I'm waiting on you to tell us if/when Reverend Byrne reappears and what happens with that. So, no updates on that front while we go planet side?
Not at the moment, no.
All right. Okay, so I'm dropping all the players onto the map Branimir 3. So this is what we see as we descend planet side. A quick, communications ping confirms that this city in the sort of central left of the map is the city Brasailles, which is the primary spaceport of this planet. So if we're gonna touch down, that is the only government approved touchdown point on this planet. Some things that people might notice as we are as we're heading in, this planet has a distinctly purple undertone. This planet is covered in pits, like mines and abandoned mines and quarries. Sorry.
Bless you.
And it is.
Bless you.
It's fairly. It's fair. It seems to be fairly inhabited. There's a fair number of cities and communities. There's a few continents. Actually, no. I think there's probably only one supercontinent on this planet. It's a fairly small planet, and most of the planet is covered in water. There's only one continent that is noteworthy, and the continent features a sort of geographic divide with primarily marshlands on the east side and primarily sort of deciduous forests and fields on the west side. And the two sides are divided by this mountain range. And I think that's probably all that people are able to get just from the descent down planet side. So, now, does anybody have any questions about this map before I move us to the next one?
No.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, where are we landing? You said bottom left.
Center, pretty much the center.
Oh, okay.
This
Awesome.
this big square city here. Okay.
Yeah.
So that city is Brasailles, which I am now switching us over to. So here's my map for the city of Brasailles. Let me go ahead and grab my Gemini icon here and paste that in.
Hey everyone, I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey there. Kevin, question
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
Did Emil recognize Echo?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna have to.
The only ones who recognized her in our party then are Starfire and Roy.
Okay. So we're going to have like a team meeting to process that at some point. But
Yep.
for now, the party has agreed that the best thing to do is to touch down, do some ship repairs, and decide on next steps from there. So, okay. So we touch down. This is the city of Brasailles. I've highlighted some points of interest on the city, but for immediate priorities, okay, I think before anybody even leaves the ship, we do, now that we are planet side and we're back in a okay, I think that now that we're planet side, the first step is everybody kind of just takes their phones and like connects to the local planetary internet network and starts checking, status checking. Where in the galaxy are we?
How long were we gone?
Yeah. So the place.
Any big local news, like any planets destroyed, or I don't know.
So the place in the galaxy that we've arrived is in pretty close to the center of the diocese, and
oh shit! Did I hear that right? We're in diocese territory.
Yes, we're in diocese territory. And Zai, how long have we been gone?
So it seemed like we were in the plane of thought probably 3 days. We have actually been gone. I could be real fucked up and be like, we're actually back earlier than when we left. But no, we were gone 3 weeks.
Okay. It's not as bad.
So not a full month, but close to it.
Okay. And yeah, I think combination of Zai and Aeneas. Any noteworthy news during that 3-week period? Actually, I think that 3-week period would have been the Galactic Politics game that we did recently. So the news would have been the stuff that happened during our Galactic Politics game.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, some...
Word.
Yeah.
There was some stuff that happened, like specifically that event of wherever Echo was doing whatever she was doing and then stopping to interact with us.
Yeah.
Well,
Echo,
I'm pretty sure.
Do you have any background? Sorry, I called you Echo.
What I was going to say is I'm pretty sure during that Galactic Politics game, we did establish that, like, Echo went and completely destroyed an entire planet. So
Yeah.
I like the idea of we were traversing our memories in the plane of thought while Echo was doing that. She stopped mid-massacre of that planet to troll Paprika.
Right. Okay.
Oh my god.
So
that's fantastic. 'Cause, yeah, I couldn't remember all of the stuff, or most of the stuff actually, that happened during that session because it was a while ago. But I do remember Echo like making some moves. So.
Yeah, so I think the most significant news for our part of the world is Savanarolax is a what's it called? A diocese politician who has become kind of a rogue.
He's an anti-pope.
Yeah,
Isn't he?
Sort of an anti-pope.
Adora, did we agree with that last time, or is he like on his way to being an anti-pope?
I'm trying to remember the specifics. I think on the way to becoming.
Okay. Yeah, the real world Savonarola never became like an actual anti-pope. He was just a rabble rouser.
Right.
All right.
So that guy is active in the area that we are in. So.
Oh shit.
Right. So sort of our like quadrant of the galaxy, not necessarily like this planet.
Oh. Okay.
But this part of the galaxy. Our.
So we would see, like, as we walk through like any inhabited area, we may see like little posters with Savonarolax's face on it, and some like what is the word, apocryphal, when it's like something that is like not part of church canon or whatever, but some kind of phrase like that, some kind of apocryphal phrase on a poster with his face, you know, just being all mean looking and religious, fist shaking, you know.
Right. So I moved us back to the galactic politics map, just so we can get a refresher. Significant things that happened. What's his name? Knox, who is still on the ship. Naeus, we created this NPC here, Kaisar, who was a lieutenant of Knox, who went to this planet Gobi 7, and tried to stop an invasion of it. And he failed. What was his did his crew escape, or were they captured?
I'm pretty sure they escaped.
Like they escaped, and then I gave him a little icon to remind myself that he got some of the spice from Gobi 7.
Yeah, like they got a little of it, but like their main mission was like, we're not only trying to get some of this spice, we're trying to like save this planet and keep it from, being destroyed, failed. But they were not successful. Yes.
Okay. So Knox definitely, while they're checking news and getting updates, gets a notification that Kaisar's mission failed. The planet he was supposed to protect was captured, and him and his crew barely got out. The bigger news is that this planet that Grandpa Tal went to protect was destroyed, and if I remember correctly, he was captured. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I think
so.
Case.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's significant because he is the head of the Children of the Warp, which is the group that Eilish and Starfire are both associated with. Okay, so I think that's all the immediately relevant stuff. Savonarolax, Kaisar, and Grandpa Tal. So, moving us back to Brasailles now. So I think that probably a day passes. Maybe it's better to say 2 days pass. That is just repairs being done to the ship, people checking the news, calling their loved ones, all people going to the hospital as needed, buying food and supplies for the ship, all this stuff that kind of just needed to get done is happening. So at the end of that, I think that 3 days after we touch down, Otema organizes. I think Otema has been having sort of like grief counseling and trauma processing sessions with people throughout the ship, but I think she's been holding off to meet with our group until a little bit later, to give us more time to process, and because I think our crew was just needed more to be helping with everything else. So
Okay.
So it's 3 days after we landed, and Otema gathers us all into a rented space. I mean, like an office on. I'm trying to decide if this would be in an office on the Gemini 3, because that's a space we have immediate access to, or if it would be a space that she rented somewhere in the city so that we didn't have to be in the Gemini 3 because we've been trapped in there for very long.
I think she would have rented a space in the city. I think that the Gemini is still like it's not what we would want it to be if we were there.
Right. It's still being worked on.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a
Recently,
second.
the AI just kind of had holograms of Moriarty and a bunch of Sherlock Holmes villains walking around talking about "I think therefore I am," and they just decided that maybe we should work on the ship a little bit longer.
Okay, that's excellent. All right, I'm gonna drop down a little map thing for the area that she has us set up in. I think it's probably. Oh shit! You know what it would be? I'm trying to decide. You know what? She's Elfin. She's Elfin. This is definitely what she would do. So we're in the Elfin embassy. I think I had a map ready for this, but my computer's being slow while I look for it. Do I have one? That's not it. That's not it. Okay, no, I do not. I will go back to the previous place I was looking at. Would it be under workspaces or temples? Okay, so she gathers us all together in the Aelfin embassy, which we have an icon for right here. As I mentioned during the pregame questions, there's one of these in, at least one of these on every major planet, and it's kind of like a Chinatown district. It's a collection of buildings that all of the Aelfin living on the planet tend to live in. It serves as an embassy. It's also, it is both sort of a neutral safe zone for both of the Aelfin factions, and it is associated with the Children of the Warp. The Children of the Warp have long been aligned with the Aelfin group, so they get they often will check in at Aelfin embassies when they arrive at a planet. Let's see. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's very good. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Uploading. The file is uploading. It's uploading to the planet, the server now, and it's still uploading. It's very slow. It's 2/3 done and it's still going. It's uploading to the server now. It's still working on it. It's very slow. And now we have the thing. Okay. I'm gonna go get all of our characters.
Where do I support your singing career Patreon, Brent?
Thank you. I need all
This is a nice looking room.
and you. Copy.
Wait, this isn't the room she rented, is it? This is this is
the building that she rented a room in.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn. Eilish got them space bucks.
And it's not Eilish, it's Otema, who is.
Got it.
Yeah. But so Otema was able to get a space here for free because she is Aelfin.
Ah.
Okay. So we don't get the whole building, but we've we have like a table that has been rented for us, and is, probably has some like a privacy screen or something like that. Okay. So, I think first things first, people we have in this scene, we have Starfire, we have Otema, we have Liko, Otema's girlfriend, we have all of the party members. Ruda, do you have any reaction to being in an elfin embassy?
No, it's like a long and distant past because he kind of like left it all behind so long ago. It was like 30 years ago, I guess, at this point.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've probably been in one since then. I mean, even if you're not seeking one out for community or sentimental reasons, just working in this field, sometimes you'll have meetups at them and stuff like that.
Right.
I would imagine Ruda knows his way around this place a lot more effectively than anyone else. Like, he knows exactly where to go to get his additional Pangalactic Gargle Blasters, or where the refrigerator is, or exactly where the bathroom is. He knows where all the things are and is just walking. I guess he'd be walking around it as if...
One probably significant thing is, I don't think that that Aelfin society traditionally serves alcohol. So I think that you guys sit down and I mean, Ruda, when
I imagine
a
Ruda
waitress
would be
comes
mad
by,
about that, even though he doesn't know what alcohol is.
He really wants another on-planet Pangalactic Gargle Blaster, and he wants to get into a fight. So he's trying to go to a bar.
So Ruda, you sit down at the table you guys have rented at the embassy. This part of the embassy is kind of like a restaurant too. Like people who rent a room at the embassy, they have a kitchen and wait staff who'll come by and take orders and stuff like that. You know that they do not serve alcohol. Did you bring a flask? Do you try to order alcohol anyway? Do you make peace with this situation?
Do you make peace with this situation?
No, he has a flask, of course.
Okay, good. Are you like blatantly drinking it in front of the waitress?
Super subtly.
Oh, okay, that's very kind.
Wait. Is it actually subtly, or does Ruda just think it's very subtly?
Yeah. Well, everybody can smell the Pangalactic Gargle Blaster. That's one of the properties of the Pangalactic Gargle Blaster. It's got a crazy strong smell. So, obviously, everybody can smell it on him.
Okay, so, so we're sitting here, and Otema starts us off. She, so probably just to sort of get everyone on the same page, she says, like, okay, we're all gathered here. I'm having different groups get together to sort of emotionally process what happened in thought space. And while I'm sure all of you guys have some traumas that you need to process, I think our top priority should be addressing the elephant in the room, so to speak, which is Echo. During the final scene that we witnessed in Thought Space, we saw a scene of, and I think at this she hesitates for a second as she looks at Paprika, and then she, kind of slowly proceeds on, because there's no way out but through, and says, we witnessed the individual who goes by the code name Echo destroying the home world of Paprika, and during that we recognized her, the Echo, as our deceased friend Aveline. I don't know what that means or how that happened, but that's where we're at. So I think we should start there.
Did you just say Aveline?
I think that
hear you correctly?
Yeah, I think that Otema gives you a little bit of a look and says, "Oh, I thought you knew. I mean, I didn't want to." Yes.
Our dead friend?
Yes, our dead friend. Don't forget that she was my friend
dead,
too. And
she does not appear to be our friend.
I don't know what happened. I don't think anybody that we have ready access to knows what happened. All that matters is that there is an entity going by the name Echo, wearing our friend's face, carrying the sword that our friend... Well, and this is particularly powerful for Otema, because Otema is Elfin and knows... I mean, she knows not just what this means for Echo, but she knows what this means for Siva, who is the sword that Echo is carrying and is, the spirit that travels with her and is kind of trapped in this state with her. But, so I think she just hesitates for a second. She says, yes, there is ample evidence to suggest that the person that we saw in that vision was, in fact, actually not a clone, not a robot, not a body double, Aveline. So.
How is that possible?
Fuck if I know! Sorry. I'm sorry.
I need to know if Otema said that in character.
She did, and then she followed it with, sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay, amazing.
And I think Liko pats her on the shoulder.
That's pretty great. Yeah, that's pretty great.
That was good. That was me laughing, not Roy.
Okay. I imagine there are some... Hey, my character's not in this group. I'm gonna go get her. So Ruda had a disbelieving reaction. Emil, do you have any reaction?
I don't think I have any reaction. I think I've turned my face off, if that makes you remember how you can do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've turned my face off. My face is a white. Well, actually, I don't know what color it is. It might be kind of like glowing green.
Yeah, I think it's glowing
right?
greenish. At least
it's
that's
glowing
how I've
greenish.
Presented it.
Yeah, that's how it.
I always thought it was like orange pink.
I think that Nova can. This is moot point. I think that all Nova kind of have like one color they glow in, and I don't think we've ever locked it down. So whatever you feel like, whatever you feel like inserting there, doesn't matter. I turned my face off, and I'm just a glowing. It's just a glowing nothing.
Yeah.
It is no. I am no face. I'm literally no face.
And Eilish, who only met Aveline like once and only knows her by reputation, really, is mostly, I think, stealing glances at Starfire, but not saying anything because she doesn't, know where to start. Don't let me forget that at the end of this game, we should all go through and heal all of our injuries because we've had a chance to go to hospital. I'll come back to that. Okay. So we have addressed that. Aeneas or Zai or anybody else, is there anything else we need to address about Echo before we move on?
Roy would, I think, actually. I think Roy would say, as Starfire said on the ship, the danger that we are in is considerable. Aveline, or who we knew as Aveline, is no longer our friend. Whatever Echo is, seems to know Paprika, and seems to have something, seems to be interested in Paprika in some way. So we need to start scanning the local communications and doing any investigations we can to see where she is right now.
Okay. So
I also think that Starfire would ask a question at this point because she knows that Otema is more knowledgeable about like elfin society and norms. So Starfire kind of like, she takes a moment to think over it. She's ruminating, and then she's like, I understand what Aveline herself is capable of, but I've never known the ins and outs of her sword Siva. I just knew that those two had a bond. Is there anything additional that you could give us insight about, like, because Echo is still wielding Siva? Like, is that traditionally possible? Does that mean there's a part of Aveline left? Or like, what does Otema think about that?
Okay. You know what? I want you to answer this too. Unless you want me to. I think that, you know, I think you can answer that for Otema.
Otema takes some time to think about it, and she's like, well, traditionally, as far as these swords go, it is the soul of an elfin warrior, and when that sword is presented to a capable warrior that has earned it, as far as I know, they undergo like a bond of some sort. So like, since Siva was bonded to Aveline, theoretically nobody else could wield her, but I didn't see any of Aveline in that memory. Like, I know Aveline, I've known Aveline, and Aveline would not do any of what we saw.
Is that Starfire talking right now?
That's Otema talking.
Okay.
Oh, that's Otema talking. Cool. Roy looks directly in Otema's face, like locks eyes with her, and says, "Rain falls, wait and see. Summer heat resigned to fate. Control is the past."
Oh. Eilish raises her hand. Eilish raises her hand and waits to be called on. But she's looking at Otema.
Yes, Eilish.
Do you know if the connection point is with, do you know if the connection point is with the individual's, physical body, if it is with the individual's brain, or if it is with the individual's warp shadow or spirit? Because which of those three is the bond point tells us a lot about what we can infer about what has remained of Aveline.
Traditionally, the elfin swords are bonded with the wielder's spirit.
Okay.
It's not immediate. It grows stronger the more that the warrior fights with the sword. But yes, it is traditionally through spirit.
Okay. So, in that case, that would imply, at least, that Aveline's spirit is still intact and still present.
Can I interrupt? Can Camille interrupt here?
Yeah.
Okay, all you see is a mouth, like no part of Emil's face has is sort of like popped back into existence except for the mouth. So he just has a mouth and no nose and eyes, right?
Right.
And the mouth and he says, what if that is Aveline? And what if so much time passed in that plane that Aveline's was sort of like soul was warped naturally over thousands of years.
Roy squeezes his forehead with his hand and then nods his head and says, Aunt marches humbly, mingled words below true home, blessings of refuge.
Otema thinks about it for a bit, and she's like, I don't know what Roy is trying to say, and I can't even begin to speak on what is and is not in the plane of thought, but we know that there is so much unknown about it, and there's also so much unknown about the fifth dimensional place that Aveline died in. Like, I would say, based on everything we've seen, it's theoretically possible that, yes, her spirit has warped and changed over the time that she has spent in that space, but I don't want to say that's exactly what happened, just that it's possible.
Okay.
I feel like Otema also is a little uncomfortable in broaching this topic, but it being brought up does raise the question of, do we think we could possibly find out more information about what happened to Aveline if we talk to Claven?
Oh, fuck, I hate that. I mean, yeah,
No
probably.
blankets fondly, tiny joys of hope and bliss, fires glow softly.
Roy, I'm really supposed to be, I'm supposed to be emotionally responsive to these things, and I'm supposed to really try and support you guys here, but I am begging you, please speak
Vanishing
English.
wonders, bird of prey is free to go, herald of a star.
I give up.
Hey, I'm a herald of a I'm a herald of a star.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm generating these haikus randomly, but they're actually fitting into what I want Roy to try to be communicating. So this is wonderful.
Wow.
But yeah, that last one, Mel or Kevin kind of got it. He was agreeing with Emil.
Question.
Vanishing wonders, Aveline being the wonder. Bird of prey is free to go. Herald of a star.
Okay. Master, Starfire. I'm trying to assess how much of a threat Echo actually is. Obviously, from what we know from intelligence reports and everything, she is incredibly dangerous, but do we have any reason to believe that she can... Do we have any reason to believe that she would know where we are without us, without finding it out through traditional methods? If we keep a low profile, do we have any reason to believe that she could supernaturally find us?
I don't think that I don't think that Echo would be omnipresent about the idea. Like, she does not know where we are, but it would be so easy for her to find us because of how quickly she can get around that I wouldn't necessarily consider ourselves safe, even if we kept the lowest of profiles.
But the galaxy is a big place. Even if she visited, there are hundreds of thousands of inhabited planets in the galaxy, and even if she visited every one of those for 5 minutes, she could maybe spend a second in every city, there's no way that she can't be everywhere. I understand the physics, the physical limitations of warp transportation. There is an upper cap to how fast a person can travel. She can't travel through every point in the galaxy. Through scale of large numbers, the best chance of her finding us would be through intelligence reports. So, while I recognize that we're never going to be safe, I think that our priority should be on keeping a low profile while we try to come up with a strategy. I think that is our, not that any option is safe, but I think that option would be safest. Does everyone agree?
Starfire absolutely agrees. Yes, we should obviously keep a low profile because we don't it's exactly as you said. She could theoretically just pop onto every planet in every universe and just check for a second, and it would still take some time even if she did eventually find us. I think Starfire is also worried about another angle. We have no way of knowing this since we don't know if Aveline's spirit is still intact or not. But if it is, we have another angle to worry about, and that is warp presence and signatures. If Echo is aware of those and she can feel those and seek those out, she could be able to, once she establishes that Eilish is with us, for instance, or that I am with us, for instance, she could find us very easily just by picking out our warp signatures.
Good point. In that case, I think our priority should be on not only maintaining a low profile in the physical plane, but maintaining a low profile in the warp as well. That probably means that anybody who Eilish would recognize should try to avoid using their warp powers more than absolutely necessary. And she says this looking at Starfire and Roy.
And Ruda, right?
Yeah, I think Ruda knows Eilish.
That's
Roy says,
because Roy is not Roy. Ruda is also aware of the warp, I think, right?
Yeah.
Not the same way that Children of the Warp are, but he's
sure.
So
he's all about fighting the demons.
Well, Ruda
I can't warp into the warp though, right, Bren?
Yeah. So Ruda has warp powers as of this season. He can summon demons
okay.
and
All right,
control them
great.
a little bit.
Yeah, straight up.
But he did not have warp powers while Aveline knew him. So
yeah.
Oh,
I don't think that Aveline would recognize his sort of warp signature. She would recognize his warp
I absolutely
shadow
agree with that.
if she saw it, but I don't think she would be able to recognize the sensation of him using his powers. So I think Ruda is probably safe. I have created a clock for us. Usually when I create clocks, I start them at 6 o'clock because that means it will be in imminent danger soon. I'm starting this one at 1 o'clock because I think that right now she's not on top of us. But every single time we choose advance a clock as a failure, that means it's going to get a little bit closer. So that's just a thing that's going to be on the back burner for a while, constantly looming over us.
Wandering vessel.
Oh, God.
How she goes through sands of space, calming in between.
Okay, so after this, I think Otema switches to some more general, trauma processing stuff. At this point, so at the end of the game, we're gonna have everybody remove all their physical injuries because of the chance to go to a hospital. At this point, I think anybody can check their character sheet, and you can remove up to one trauma from your character, because right now we're all going to therapy.
Advising desire, sparkling star overcome with joy, stories told eagerly.
So where's my? I know I had one. Here we go.
One of us is going to struggle in therapy.
This is what happens when a thought drinks a pan-galactic gargle blaster.
Yep.
Okay.
This is all Ruda's fault.
So I think that we all do our therapy. At the end of the scene before we leave, I think that Starfire says she wants to address something with everyone that is not directly related to the other thing we've been talking about, but she thinks that this group could be helpful, and she thinks that it is important to address. So, is this a good time for me to go into sort of setting up the plot for Chapter 2? Anything else we need to cover before I do that?
I don't think that there is. Yeah, I think it's fine.
There is one possibility.
I mean, yeah, there was that.
Okay. What is the possibility? I genuinely don't know what's happening with your character, so I'm what happens?
Yeah. So you see appearing before you, the group, in the blink of an eye, all of the missing people from the ship. They appear to be dressed in identical choir robes. They appear visibly older, perhaps a decade or so. All of them except one, Reverend Byrne, is not there.
Oh my god.
But then, a few seconds later, you think about looking up as you hear something, and you see her falling, literally falling from the sky and crashing into the ground. Unlike when you last saw her, she appears to be a mess of additional cybernetic wiring and appears to have perhaps living, giant angelic-looking wings sprouting from her back.
What the fuck?
She appears perhaps 60 to 70 years old when she was previously a spry 30 or 40.
What the fuck?
Wow. What the fuck?
This is so good. Okay, this is extremely good.
Chasing of yonder crescent moon, silence no more, world spins in silence.
Okay. Okay, so what follows is, I think, about 10 minutes of what the fuck. And then,
Is anyone going to try and wake her up?
oh, she's unconscious?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
I didn't either. He just like entered the room. Crash landing.
I
Okay,
think Roy would walk over, and using his shit. I got drones. What the fuck are they called?
Your drones, whatever they're called.
Yeah, whatever they're called. Using Roy's drones, he starts to scan her, try to figure out, obviously what the hell she is, what is going on.
Okay.
Is there any reaction to the scan, or do I need to roll or anything?
Yeah, I think that let's go ahead and roll. Click on your character, click load abilities, click take an action. Here's hoping that the macros are working now. I don't know if they were working last time.
Take an action. All right, research.
I think research is as good a option as any.
Research. Endure, street fight, warfare, wilderness, dueling, parkour, sniping, stealth.
Probably
trauma,
medical.
Heart and medicine?
Yeah.
Or wit investigate. I feel like wit investigate would make more sense for Roy.
Sure.
Which ability would you like to use? And that's where I'm using the that's the word, multiphasic drones. Do you have advantage? No. You just surprised me. Did nothing happen?
And here's where I check my thing. Weirdly, I'm not getting, like, usually when the scripts stop working, I get an error in the mod console. I'm not getting any errors.
Load abilities, click take an action, use research, quit investigating, multiphasic drones, submit. Do you have advantage? No. Submit. There we go.
Whoa,
I don't know why I didn't do it the first time. I did it the second time and it worked.
Okay. 11. Fuck yes. Results on a 10 to 12. On a 10 to 12, it's a great. I don't think we have to worry about the specific things unless we want to.
Okay.
At least, so you can answer 2 questions, and then 3 questions, and you're gonna get an extra forward. So, 3 questions?
3 questions. Where has Byrne been? How did she change? How did she get here?
Why didn't one of your questions be, is she all right?
Because it's Roy.
God damn it.
Byrne has been in the plane of thought. She, what was the second one?
How has she changed?
By her own volition.
Fuck.
You answered that like a genie in an old story. How did she get here?
Not by her own volition.
Oh.
You sticking with that whole genie thing? Okay.
Okay.
Changed on her own, but didn't get here on her own.
And in addition, when you start probing her, and she briefly arouses for a second and says only the following: "Vanishing wonders, bird of prey is free to go.
What the fuck?
Herald of a star."
Oh no.
In case anyone missed it, that's the haiku that Roy said a couple minutes ago.
Oh! Holy shit.
I think Roy just stops and then takes a step back and turns off the drones.
Okay. Okay. Well, she's clearly still alive. I think we get her. Okay. Well, let's get her back to the ship.
Who's going to pick her up?
I'll pick her
I
up.
would refrain from doing so.
Actually, I don't think I'm strong enough to pick her up. And
I feel like Ruta would be the only one.
Yeah,
Ruta and
I
a
think
mill.
so.
Maybe
well,
would be the only
definitely
ones
not a
capable.
mill. A mill is made of
Or
pudding.
willing. Oh yeah, not a mill. A mill
No,
is
my-
pudding. Wait,
my
no,
mech.
why are you pudding?
My mech. I'm neutron pudding. I'm radioactive pudding.
He's
Why
a
are you
Nova.
pudding?
The
What-
Novas
what
are
happened?
squishy.
We're
know, but-
squishy.
That's
I
just
guess
like
I had a different idea of Novas this whole time.
it's a physiology thing we established about novas. They're kind of like perfect example would be in Big Hero 6, the big white
Yeah.
robot. They're like balloon people,
Okay.
full of goo.
And yeah, I guess Ruta would be the only one who may be both able and willing
Yeah.
Yeah.
to move Adora's body.
I mean-
Ruta, are you down with doing that? Like, how do we even think that would look? Like, would Ruta just go over there just randomly and then pick her up, or would somebody ask him first? Or
I mean, if not Ruta, Liko will do it.
Yeah, Liko could do it too, but I think like they both probably go over and try to help.
Yeah.
okay, so Ruta and Lika go over to pick up
Yeah.
Adora. This is Liko, right?
Liko's the big furry one.
Oh, I guess that one's not big and furry enough. Yeah.
Um,
Adora, is there any reaction to them picking up your body?
She briefly regains consciousness for another second and manages to say, I wasn't strong enough. I couldn't save all of them. Why couldn't I focus? Before collapsing again.
Okay.
Roy says to Liko and Ruda,
oh no.
we need to get her to a medical center immediately. There's a connection between events that are occurring and whatever has happened to Byrne that we don't understand yet. We don't know if she's safe. We don't know if we're safe around her.
Yeah.
The other thing that you noticed is that last thing she said was also a haiku.
God damn it, it was.
I can't believe we now have to deal with 2 haikuers.
Oh my
god. I am looking forward to the game where we enter the plane of haikus and
we just do a whole 2 hours like, okay, what the fuck just happened? That whole game?
Every single person is only allowed to speak in haikus.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, and just to be clear, the choir of people who arrived with her are also
so creepy.
Alive, correct?
They are alive, and aside from being older, seemingly unchanged, and different attire,
and cognizant.
They're all the priests from Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's creeping me out.
It would take me too long to find other ones.
No, it's better like this. It's like some Children of the Corn shit.
It feels very appropriate. I like to imagine that not only are they all wearing robes, they all have hair dyed the color of Reverend Byrne red, and they all have identical haircuts.
Oh God, a cult of ginger. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Why do people say shit about gingers?
Okay. Okay. We're going to move the scene.
Yeah.
We're gonna move the scene. Hold on.
So I think the choir, and if this doesn't make sense, Dora, let me know. I think those I don't know, cultists, whatever, they would just be following her, like, I don't know, quietly, or are they singing hymns?
They're at this point perhaps a little confused as to why they're here.
Oh, okay. So they don't have like a straight up groupthink thing going on. They're like, they still have like personality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think the rest of the people on the ship would be like, some would be rejoicing, some would be like freaked out, and yeah, those people are probably kind of just like fish out of water. It's like, what's going on? Huh? What?
Okay.
When you ask them, they don't remember anything happening.
Oh, oof. Okay, there's so much going on. Okay. So I'm going to time skip a little bit, and then we're going to come back to this scene at the beginning of next game. Because I have a business I want to get to before we finish this game. And I think that there's a lot of discussion we need to have now that those people are back. Adora, in one day's... Nope. We're gonna come back to that. Okay, your character is in a med bay during this scene.
Sure.
A med bay that's not in the ship.
Yeah.
Like, it should be a med bay that's in the city, because remember, the ship is being weird.
Yeah.
And this is weird. We don't need weird times weird.
Right. Okay, so it's the next day, or maybe that afternoon, and we are all meeting up in Aveline's, not Aveline's, Otema's, what Otema calls her chapel. But it's literally just like a therapy room It's like it's got a cozy big couch, and this is where she does her like sermons on the ship, which are basically just group therapy.
Hey everybody, I have to probably go.
Okay. I'll give you. I'll just message you the thing that comes out of this.
Yeah, that sounds great. Bye everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Okay.
See you, Kevin.
So, Otema says that she is gathered everybody back together because at Starfire's request, because Starfire had something she wanted to discuss with the group that she didn't get a chance to last time. So the thing Starfire wants to say, which I will remember in a second. Right. Okay. So Starfire tells the group that she. All right, I should do this in first person instead of third person. Okay. So, we've all been catching up over the past few days since we landed, trying to figure out what's going on and where everyone, what the status of everyone is. Over the past month or so, there has been some turmoil in the Children of the Warp, and according to my very flooded inbox, which I'm trying to catch up on, our top priority right now is status check with everybody in the organization. We're trying to find where everyone is, make sure we're all safe. That's been going on across the galaxy, and we've had some ups and some downs. Some people are still missing, some people have been found and safe and checked in, but fortuitous chance, it just happens to be that this planet that we're on is the last known location of one of the missing Children of the Warp individuals. So this is an individual, a man by the name of Farin Fullmoon, and she pulls out a photograph of him, and I opened the wrong thing. I want this one. Okay. So, she explains that Farin Fullmoon is a Children of the Warp member who was sent to this planet to do some investigation on some unusual magical occurrences that had been noted planet-side. There's been some weird magic that doesn't necessarily play by the standard rules that we expect from magic, and that's something that warrants investigation. So, Farin Fullmoon was sent, and he was doing his investigation. He would have checked in with the Elfin Embassy upon arriving, and then we don't know where he went from there. Hold on, let me check my notes. Branimir. They both received the message and discover. Okay. A member of the Coalition of the New Dawn and member of the Children of the Warp, Farin Fullmoon, a researcher for the Children of the Warp, was called in to investigate weird magical happenings on Branimir 3, a remote diocese planet. He stopped sending mission reports about 3 weeks ago, which is what I wrote in my notes, and I did not intentionally correspond to the last time that we were in the material plane, but it happened.
It worked.
Okay, so okay, so basically there's a missing person hunt out for this man here, Farin Fullmoon. And his last known location was on this planet. Starfire is feeling very protective of her people right now, and if it's possible, she thinks that we should find this guy. Zai, I know that you had some thoughts about the setup for this level. Is there anything you want to add to the sort of mission conceit?
I just think that, and maybe I missed something that you were just saying because I was giving my cat some food. They're definitely Echo. The story about her needs to be one of the primary things too. Like, maybe it's not something that we are being tasked directly with, but I feel like there should be activity related to Echo and what we do. I mean,
how would you recommend making that?
I mean, the clock suits it, but
I mean,
I think that we need to. There was a haiku that Roy said about that mentioned a calming period. So we maybe we received some information about after the last loss of a player or the last instance of Echo appearing, she has not been seen anywhere. Observed, like nobody knows where this person has gone. She's completely missing, and I don't know. I don't know how that would work into the level like at this point.
Okay, so I mean, I think right now, the way Echo works in is we don't know where she is, and she is she's a threat that could come up at any time. So, you know, it's a thing we'll keep an eye on. But I think the only way that she fits in with the sort of mission briefing is that
I think that we should send out. We should get in contact with some organization of scouting or ranger types. Maybe Roy had some connection with rangers from his previous work, where it's not just we're relying on random reports. Like, we actually hire somebody to go out and look for Echo.
Okay.
And that person's fates, we should roll for it at some point.
Okay. No, I completely agree. So maybe the way that affects the mission is that our mission will be kind of No, I like this. So we'll be doing two things at once. Right now, there is nothing there's nowhere in the galaxy we could be going that is any safer than this place is, if only by matter of obscurity. And so, staying put here is as good as an option as anywhere else. So the best thing we can be doing on the Echo front is we stay where we are and we put out feelers. We try to come up with a plan. We kind of hunker down here and build up, a plan and our defenses and stuff like that.
So instead of scouring the network and doing stuff that would attract attention to us, we hire not a bounty hunter, but some sort of investigator,
a PI,
to review past places where Echo has been and see if they can gather information about where she may be next, or just what's going on with her, and we get daily updates about it.
Okay, Zai. So everything you're saying now is, just to fill everyone else in, everything you're saying now is news to me. This was not part of the DM planning session. I love it. So what we're gonna do
the best ideas are organic.
No, it's excellent. What we're gonna do here is I'm going to introduce a trio of new NPCs who are a hard-bitten private investigation firm.
They're like space CSI.
No. We're gonna go fully into the film noir, like old school 1920s beating up Nazis in the streets era private investigators, and we're gonna have a whole crew of them because I assume some of them are gonna die, and I immediately love these NPCs, and I need to have enough of them that I can get some juice out of them. So before next game, I'll come up with a crew of PIs that our team hires.
I love it.
Okay, so this is the mission. This is the mission that our next chapter will be covering. We'll be working on two fronts. One front is trying to find Farin Fullmoon and find out what he was investigating and why he went missing and where he is. And the other front will be trying to find out where Echo is and prepare our defenses for if and when we encounter her. That sound good to everyone?
Yeah. That sounds great.
Hey, 420, blaze it.
Okay.
Okay. So, I'm going to. I think we wrap up here. Next time we meet, we will get to work. I mean, okay. I gotta write some stuff down. Next orders of business. Things that need to happen next. Status update on Reverend Byrne. Adora, anything that I should know for planning wise on
yeah, I'll
that
tell you in chat. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You know what? The one thing that I can confirm for sure is new sprite. Among other things. Okay, so we need a status update on Reverend Byrne. We need start collecting. Oh boy, what am I trying to say? Start prepping plans for Echo. Okay. Farin Fullmoon investigation. And then questions. First questions are, where was he last seen? Where was he going / what was he doing? I think those are probably the questions we want to start with on that investigation. All right. Anything else anybody can think of that we need to have on our docket for next game?
No, I think we got enough new stuff to blend in with the stuff that we had already planned to make things really interesting. Because, like, at some point we got to get to a graveyard.
Oh, right. Oh, I also have to add introduction of the planet and culture. Technically, this is something that would have happened during the past few days while we've been planetside and everybody's been, getting settled, getting healed, doing their repairs and all that stuff. People would have just spent some amount of time in this city and would have gotten, a first few days of exposure, just gotten some introduction to the local culture. So
and it would have been a lot to squeeze that all in with all like the dialogue and decision making and transitions and stuff that we had to do.
Right. So both the introduction to the culture and the what's going on with Reverend Byrne and her people we'll do at the beginning of next game, even though the conversation we just had technically happened after that. Okay. That covers everything. Last thing. Moving us all back to the homepage. And
Shit, we
now,
can just do like an anime and just do a flashback.
yeah. We're gonna do our post-game checklist. Do we want to add? Okay. Everybody, open up your character sheets. Go to your archetype section. Look at your archetype triggers.
Paprika took time to mourn her family and home this game.
Fuck yeah! What'd you get for that?
XP.
All right. Give yourself a little XP tick.
I think Bruta helped.
Do that?
XP is down with resources under health and status.
Oh, okay. So I would just do the next dot over.
Yep.
Okay.
I think Bruta went out of his way for somebody else this episode.
I think he did, but my memory is kind of fuzzy. What example are you thinking of?
Oh, just Reverend Byrne.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. What'd you get for that? A string?
Experience.
Okay, experience. Give yourself that. You know how to give yourself experience?
I think so.
Okay. Go find the resources section. It should be under health.
Yeah. And I make it go to the right.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Cool.
Roy?
I think Roy would have developed a string with Reverend Byrne based on choosing the peaceful option despite the temptation to do otherwise. Because everybody was expecting me to do something violent when Byrne just fell from the sky, but I didn't.
Okay, so since I think you already have a string with her, you can change the label if you want, but just tick it one more to the right.
Is it under abilities, traits, and consequences?
No, it's under resources.
Resources.
Ah.
Okay.
Resources. Okay.
Okay. Now go to your health and status and nope, I opened up the wrong character sheet. Everybody has had a chance to go to the hospital since we landed planetside. So fill your health back up to full. Fill your, make your shield and everything back up to full. Your resolve should also go back up to full because of just the passage of time. And any broken abilities or traits should tag back to healthy if they were on broken.
What about traumas and miscellaneous injuries?
Miscellaneous injuries you can heal. Traumas you can.
No, it works. It works.
No,
I have a trauma that's
too.
dissociative episodes, and it works to keep it.
Okay, I was gonna say you could heal that because we literally had group therapy earlier. In this
therapy
game.
doesn't work the same on Roy, so
Fair enough.
I'm just gonna keep it.
I like that. No, it feels appropriate. Okay, and then
Perhaps had one suffer a defeat or injury that will galvanize your followers.
Yeah, absolutely. What's that for you? Is that experience?
XP. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Give yourself some XP for that. Do we need to add any ongoing forward assets? No, not gonna worry about that right now. All right, last thing we need to do is, do we need to add any new clocks based on stuff that happened this game? So we already added one clock for Echo.
Probably one with the stuff going on with me.
Okay, what kind of clock would that? What is the event that we're counting down to?
Byrne's awakening.
No, not that. I'll
Okay.
inform you later.
All right, we'll figure one out for that then later. Anything? So we're worried about Echo locating the party. Is there anything we're worried about in terms of the party members, the crew members, the ship? I don't think so. I think all of our countdowns are pretty much clean right now. So right now, I think the only thing that's kind of looming over us is Echo.
I think there should be on the planet in this. There should be some sort of like cultural conflict, considering the people that we said would be inhabiting this place.
No, I totally agree. I think we'll add one for that once we discover
There's
it.
like random cultural tensions. I think would be well enough for us to add. Like the elfin who let us in and let us use this place, let us use it because we had elfin with us. But like outside of this place in the world at large, there are some cultural tensions going on.
Okay.
And I mean, we can handle that with a clock.
Sure.
Like,
I'm
so we can just
adding
have
one.
random mini events popping up. Like maybe there's a protest one day, or maybe there's I don't want to get too dark, but maybe there's just something that's not good that happened.
I'm adding one that is just called unspecified cultural tensions. So it's a clock that we can tick forward. Once we know more about the tensions, we can put a label on it. For now, it's just unspecified. I'm adding one clock that is okay. I'm adding a clock that is the PI's die.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna add one more. And what was I gonna do with this? Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. Boy, was it something to do with the war, places, people? Oh, fiddlesticks. I had one more I wanted to do and I don't remember it. Oh, the guy, Farin Fullmoon. I have one. So we know that Farin Fullmoon is missing. We don't know where he is or what kind of trouble he's in, but if he was not in trouble, he would have sent a check-in message. So, assuming he is still alive, the longer we spend trying to find him, the greater the chance that he's not going to be alive by the time we find him is. Everybody agrees with that? So
yeah.
I think one of the clocks is Farin Fullmoon's fate. We don't know what that means necessarily yet, but the longer we take, the more danger he is put into. Okay, and I will put all these clocks over here. All right. And then I'm gonna check. I know one thing I have to do is stop the recording. And nope, I think that's it. Woo! Woo!
Ooh.
All right.
Good game. This is great.
Very good.
Big game. Oh my god. This was a hell of a game, guys.
Yeah, we had a community
fun.
argument scene.
It was very fun, and I am exhausted, and I think that's a sign of how fun it was.
So much drama.
Oh yeah. I would say
really
very
good.
well done, everyone. Just
Well
the
done.
dialogue between the characters felt very interactive and very reflective of the characters' personas. Super
It was
fun.
great.
Yeah, totally great.
Okay. All right. Well then, we're gonna head out, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks, maybe. Something like that.
Okay.
See y'all.
Cool.
Bye,
Enjoy.
everyone.
Bye.